I thought choosing where to live would come down to obvious things like cost, weather, and logistics, but the things that are actually making this decision hard are not the things I expected. Stay tuned for more information on what's actually making this decision hard for me. So, first things first, I do have an Excel spreadsheet, well, it's a Google Sheet, with a list of criteria that we've already gone over on what I want in my next location. I do have a lot of different cities on that, and I've ranked them, I've given them grades, I've made sure, I've thought through what the things that are important to me are and how that might affect my life. I've done all of that. However, I feel like I'm still comparing every single city that I'm looking at to one particular city. And that's not a bad thing. I do know I love the city. Just I'm looking to see if there's something better out there for me. Maybe not a better city. I don't think cities are apples to apples comparisons, just better city for me. There's a few things about the city that I don't love. I'll just be clear. I do not love, could potentially be a problem, hoping that they're not a problem, but it's the reality of life. Nothing's going to be perfect. So I'm really thinking about that. So the issues, I just love the city. Much like to my outfit today, it's a very vibey city. It's one of those places where you go there and you kind of just fall in love. Like, this is what the city is known for. It's just somewhere that people truly love or you hate. I think a lot of cities are like that, where you either love it or you hate it. So I'm just comparing a lot of, you know, other cities to the city, and I'm trying not to have in this like back of mind, like, hey, what about this city? How does it compare to this city? This is my benchmark now. This is what I'm comparing everything to. And I don't necessarily want to continue to do that. So, aside from the fact that I'm really just putting every other city as a benchmark compared to this one, there's also just like what I talked about before, the feeling. The reason that the city is often one that I think about is I've been there before, which makes a big difference. And I spent a lot of time there. Like, combined, I think I've spent about 8 or 9 weeks in the city in the last 4 years. So, it's not a city I'm unfamiliar with. I know what I'm getting into, better or worse, I know what I'm getting into. But there's the feeling I have when I'm there is definitely different than I have perhaps elsewhere. And that's something that I'm thinking about. Another thing that I'm thinking about that isn't on my list is I truly feel like I could live any life. I could live almost anywhere. I can't live in like the desert or very remote areas, but I can live almost anywhere and be pretty happy. And as you can see from the picture behind me, this one, it's a beach scene. I love the beach. Part of me just wants to give up and go live by the beach. I want to go be a beach bum and sell coconuts. Maybe not sell coconuts, but kind of that vibe. I love the beach so much. I just feel like maybe I just need a much more slower pace than I currently have, a little bit more carefree, maybe even a smaller town. Like, I definitely feel like I love the convenience of a city, but I love just the way I feel when I'm by the beach. Like, literally, I'm relaxing right now just thinking about it. The problem with that is the next thing that I have to think about, which I did mention previously, but is something that becomes a bigger part of my decision as I'm thinking about it. What are my opportunities for dating? Like, I can't go to certain areas and expect to see a lot of people my age. It's probably going to be an older crowd, or maybe a crowd that's full of people who already have a family. So I want to get married and I want to have children. How am I going to do that if there's no one to date? I can, deal with the cost of living. I can deal with certain aspects of a place being odd or eccentric or even annoying, but I can't manufacture people. I cannot manufacture eligible bachelors for me to actually date. And that's something I have to keep in mind. Like, yeah, if I go to somewhere that's very popular with the snowbirds, I will definitely enjoy myself. I love hanging out sometimes with older people. They're more chill, in my opinion. But who am I going to date? Can't date them. That's not what I'm looking for. And I have to be like, okay, well, I hope your grandson comes in town. That's not really going to work. So I really do have to think like, hey, is this actually going to work for me? Is this something that's going to really work for the life I want? Perhaps what I really just need to do is what I'm probably going to do. Find somewhere that 2 years, 2 maybe 5 years, I'm like, all right, this is fine. I can deal with this, whatever. This is cool. And I'm just going to go with it. And then in a couple of years, I'll move somewhere else. So I think the most important part of my decision is not just picking a city that works for me, but picking a country that works for me. Because when you pick a country that works for you have more of an opportunity at that point to move about. I don't have to go reapply for a visa. I don't have to uproot my life in the same way. It will be more like, oh, I'm moving from New York to LA versus I'm moving from Spain to New Zealand. That's a big move. That's a crazy move, actually. So that's something I have to keep in mind. I have to be a little bit more flexible in terms of just figuring out how I could make things work for me. So for instance, one of the things about where I'm thinking of probably, my number one choice, not probably, is my number one choice right now is like, hey, the cost of living is going up here very quickly. And I have to just be prepared for that. I just have to factor that into the equation and just say, like, perhaps I need to change how I budget, change how I look at my budget and move on because everything else works for me and I just have more opportunities to socialize and build community and date and network there and just be done with it. Certain things about where it is, it's not financial. I cannot change it. There's not much I can do to change it. So things like the weather or the air quality, I can't change that. So I have to figure out, can I deal with it? Are there parts of that city that might be better for me? So that's where I'm at right now. I just have to be a little bit more flexible. I do think that ultimately the city that's just been number one in my head is going to be where I move. I think a part of it is fear. I'm trying to just make sure I'm considering all options. I'm not just jumping into something. Like when I moved to Atlanta, I didn't think about any of this. I grew up in Boston. Boston's dumb expensive. So when I moved to Atlanta, I was like, oh, this place is a lot cheaper. I have friends here. There's an opportunity for me to save a lot of money by living here. And that's kind of what I went for. I didn't think through that decision. Really, I didn't. I was 21. Like, I wasn't thinking about nothing other than, like, hey, I don't want to live at home anymore and I can't afford to live by myself in Boston. I can go out and live in Atlanta by myself. Truly, that is all I thought about when I moved to Atlanta. I didn't think, about the weather, how I'm going to actually deal with that. I didn't think about public transit. I didn't think about opportunities. Living in Atlanta worked out for me. That's not the problem. It's just ultimately, I don't really think it fits where I want to be long term. And I just have this like very strong desire to live somewhere else. So this is time. I have to do it. I'm not staying in Atlanta. That's not what I'm saying. It's just I think there's a fear I have of just making the wrong choice and I need to really get over that. So I need to just stop going back and forth. Just make a decision and stick with it. I feel so much more at peace when I just stick to a decision and, well, make a decision and stick to it. Even if it's the wrong decision, at least I know on paper where I'm thinking of does lead. It is number one. And also in my heart, it is number one. I don't know what the hesitation is. I don't really know what the problem is. I think I just really want to live by the beach, and there's no beach here. So if I could just take that city and put it by the beach and keep the weather, that would be amazing. But that's just not possible. My number, I would say like maybe 3, 4, or 5, one of the like 3 to 5 on my ranking, as well as like where I'm thinking of. It does have a city by the beach, and it would work really well in terms of like fitting what I'm looking for. The downside is I've never been there. I think it's more terrifying to make the wrong decision going somewhere I've never been before than to make the wrong decision going somewhere I have been before. I like it's a difference between the known unknowns and the unknown unknowns. I know what I know and I don't know what I don't know. And, I'm probably not going to move to this place. Where I'm talking about in terms of like probably not going to be where I move, but on paper could be a great choice is Lima, Peru. But I've never been to Peru. I've never been to Lima. So for me, it's like that's terrifying. I don't know if I could do that. So right now I'm just sitting on that decision. I'm definitely got to make a decision probably at the end of this month, next month, and just deal with it. So let's see what I do. Bye.